Greetings, brothers. The World Team Championships for 2025 is rolling around, and there are 15 different players from across the globe playing Blood Angels. So I thought I'd cover the army lists, and I think it's safe to say Liberator Assault Group may be a slight, ever so slight, favourite. So let's get into this week's tactics video. So, if we are just meeting, my name is John, and every week on the channel I focus on Space Marine and Blood Angels content to try and make you a better Space Marine or Blood Angels player. So let's talk about the 15 Blood Angels lists this week that are at the WTC, and I'm going to try and pronounce anyone's names because I'm probably going to say them wrongly, so you can read the names. That is the file names at the top of the screen. But what we'll be looking at is Team Australia. So his list is called Where Are My Lancers? So 1995 points, Liberator Assault Group. We have a Blood Angels captain who is rage fueled. We have a captain with a jump pack. We have the chaplain with fight first. We have Dante. We have a Death Company captain with a jump pack. And we have a lieutenant with a combi weapon. Lots of characters here for Liberator Assault Group. Assault intercessors on foot. Intercessors on foot. A single impulsor. Jump intercessors. We then have this, I want to say this, not the standard, but 18 Blade Guard, 3 squads of 6. I imagine that one of them will be led by the chaplain for fight first. One of them, and 2 of them probably unled, honestly, because the captain's probably honestly leading the assault intercessors that are going in the impulsor. So 18 Blade Guard, we've got 5 Death Company Marines. They are with jump packs. They will obviously go with that jump Death Company captain. We have 6 Sangre Guard. I would argue they are probably with Dante, but I mean they could be with one of the other captains. We then have 2 small squads of Sangre Guard, one of which would definitely be attached to a captain, and we have a unit of scouts. So this is a complete melee Liberator Assault Group list. This is actually probably a tough list to play, right? Because it's essentially a one phase army. You do all your damage with this list in the melee phase, or the close combat phase, so whatever you want to call that. You've got Lieutenant for some scoring, you've got the Scouts for some scoring, but you don't have any Lancers, you don't have any shooting. I mean, you've got bolt pistols, and maybe you've got like a couple of Infernal pistols across the whole list, and maybe a couple of Volkite pistols. I actually prefer the plasma pistols on the Blade Guard, because I think the Volkite pistol, more often than not, with its strength 5 and no AP, doesn't do anything. I'd rather just have a plasma pistol. I can at least overcharge to get strength 8 and like AP 3. But yeah, so a one-phase list, which is tough to play in the current meta, I think, and somewhat, we know that some of the Blood Angels armies, the most competitive ones, have been being carried like by lots of Blade Guard. So this is the maximum you can take, 18, and lots of Jump Intercessors. It's only 5. So this is an interesting list. It takes a lot of Blade Guard. It takes a lot of Sangre Guard. 12 of them. So 18 Blade Guard, 12 Sangre Guard. It's a lot of 2 damage. You get the Death Company in there for some more 2 damage. If you run into a -1 damage enemy, you're going to have problems as well with that list. But the idea is to look at all the lists and see what the competitive players are taking, right? So next list is for Team Austria is up next. Liberator Assault Group, 2,000 points. We've got Captain with a jump pack, Chaplain with fight first with a jump pack, so it's probably going to be Death Company. Lamartez, Dante, and the combi weapon lieutenant. So a few less characters. We still have the assault intercessors on foot. We do have jump intercessors times 3, squads of 5. We then have 15 Death Company Marines, so 10 probably with Lamartez, 5 probably with the chaplain, or maybe vice versa. I mean, yeah, could be vice versa. We then have 3 small squads of Sangre Guard, the 3-man squads, and we have 2 squads of scouts. And then we back that with the standard, we all love to hate them, but they're really useful, is the double Vindicator tank. So this is much more normal, or standard, I guess. The reason that double Vindicator is strong is it will destroy transports, then you can charge and kill what's in the transport with your melee threat. Lots of jump packs. Dante will be with 3 Sangre Guard. Your captain with a jump pack will be with 3 Sangre Guard. Can you actually put a captain with a jump pack in your army and make him a warlord over Dante? That doesn't make a ton of sense, but maybe that's valid. I'm going to check that's valid before we move on. Dante doesn't have to be the warlord. This shows how little, I mean, it's only like I've been playing Blood Angels for a few years. Yeah, I mean, apparently Dante does not need to be your warlord. Okay. So, in this fight, Dante's letting the captain. Maybe this captain is going from the Padawan rank to the Master rank, and Dante's watching him. Anyway, double Vindicator tank, 15 jump intercessors, 2 units of scouts, 9 Sangre Guard, 15 Death Company, 1 unit of assault intercessors. No enhancements here. None apart from the fight first. So, I assume it will be 10. Like, I think it would be 10 Death Company with fight first. But it could be 10 Death Company with Lamartes, and then 5 with fight first. I don't know if I feel 5 Death Company with fight first is meaningful enough. Like, it's only 2 guys with power fists. You're only getting 3 attacks per guy. You're getting 3 attacks with that Eviscerator. You're getting like 8 attacks with chainswords. Is it meaningful enough to put fight first on 5 Death Company? My experience tells me no. I mean, I've had 5 Death Company. I've felt like if you are charged, they're super underwhelming because they don't have the extra strength, they don't have the extra attacks. So I would put it on a 10, but then Lamarte's leading 5 is a weird choice. That's a tough one to call. But double Vindicator tank taking center stage. Next up, we're looking at Team BE. So I don't even know what this country is. Belgium? Hopefully it's Belgium. So we have Mephiston, who is the warlord. We've got Dante, Lamartes, a rage captain, a Death Company captain with fight first, and the lieutenant with combi weapon. Lots of people are taking lieutenant with combi weapon now in Liberator Assault Group. I think he's good. I think he's a good scoring unit. He's hard to lock down. He's hard to kill. We have 5 assault intercessors with jump packs. We have the same 5 intercessors, so we can do some sticky objectives. We have 3 units of jump intercessors, all with jump packs. We then have 2 units of 10 Death Company. So 2 big Death Company blobs. I mean, I'll be Death Company captain, I imagine, leading one. With fight first, and I guess they get the sustained hits, and then Lamarta is leading the other one. We don't really see many people playing 20 Death Companies, so that's interesting. We have 5 incursors for the +1 to hit in the shooting phase, I imagine, but there's very little that they're going to synergize with in this list. I mean, maybe they're going to try and do some actions and forward deploy and stuff like that. We've got 6 Sangre Guard, again, probably with Dante, a unit of scouts, and we have a Calidus Assassin for 7 characters in this list. So lots and lots of characters. Heavy lifting needs to be done by the 20 Jump Death Company. Again, this is somewhat of a one-phase army in that all its damage comes out in the melee phase. I think, personally, at least the most success I've had playing Blood Angels in 10th edition, I've definitely made my army 2 phases. And for a while I was doing that with like a couple of Predator tanks and a Ballistus Dreadnought, or a couple of Vindicators. I definitely think I'm in camp. If you're gonna field lots and lots of melee, I do think you're better off having something that shoots as well. Because in those matchups where your opponent has tons of units inside transports, how do you deal with that? I guess the answer is you can't. I worry about lists like this into Death Guard, honestly, because if Death Guard have Plague Marines and Rhinos, you're going to have a very tough time. Unless you can multi-charge a Rhino with both squads of your 10 Death Company, but that's you're committing 600 points to kill a Rhino and the guys inside, and then all those guys are going to be out in the open. It's very risky. Okay, next up, we are on to, I believe this is Czech Republic, but they've renamed their country called Czechia. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Alright, we're Liberator Assault Group again. Speed of the Primarch, captain of the jump pack, Dante. A Rage Fuel Death Company captain with the jump pack. We don't see that very often, so cool choice. Another Death Company captain, and lieutenant with combi weapon. I guess the one disadvantage of your Rage Fuel captain is he gives you sustained 1 anyway, so you kind of lose a little bit of that sustained, because sustained 3 doesn't stack with sustained 1, right? If you have multiple instances of sustain, they don't stack, you just pick the highest one. So Assault Intercessors on foot. Now, these are in every list. I think if I'm running Assault Intercessors on foot, I want them to be with a captain and an impulsor. If I'm not got a captain and an impulsor, I don't really know how you run these guys effectively, personally. Because they are just 20-odd chainsword attacks with reroll some wounds, but they're on foot, so they're slow, and they're tough as 4 Marines. They just die When they're targeted, they just die in the shooting phase very quickly. The reason that jump intercessors are so popular is because you can hide them and move from terrain piece to terrain piece. So they have 15 of those in 3 squads of 5. They have 2 small squads of Death Company in 5s. They have 2 Gladiator Lancers. They have 3 Sangre Guard. They have a Thunder Strike, so that's pretty interesting. The Thunder Strike is the Storm Speeder that gives +1 to wound when you're shooting monsters or vehicles. So if the Thunder Strike hits the opponent, and it's probably going to hit the opponent because it has multiple weapons and a bunch of them have ballistic skill 2 up, it hits your opponent, it's a monster or vehicle, you get +1 to wound. So all of a sudden your Lancer will now hit your opponent. Remember, Lancer rerolls 1 wound, 1 hit and 1 damage. So your Lancer will probably wound on 2s when you give it +1 to wound, and it is a strength 14 weapon. I don't think there's actually anything in the game that is toughness 14 or higher. So I think the Lancer will wound on 2s, and it gets a reroll 1 wound roll every time it shoots. So this is an expensive combo, right? 470 points, but the Lancer is one of the best Space Marine guns that we get. It's like D6 +3, it's strength 14, AP 4. You're going to get 4 shots from it across 2 vehicles, and with the +1 to wound, really gives it a lot of it will deal with monsters and vehicles very, very well. If they don't have an invulnerable save, it will absolutely obliterate them. If they have an invulnerable save, then you are at the mercy of the dice gods, and if your opponent can roll a couple of 4-ups, or he can CP reroll a couple of 4-ups, then you have a problem. We have 2 squads of Vanguard Veterans, and we have the Calidus Assassin. So this is a much heavier shooting list that still brings 25 jump troops between Assault Intercessors and Death Company, and it brings a small squad of Sangre Guard. It brings action characters like the Vanguard Veterans. So it's much more like lots of minimum size units. In fact, 35 5-man, so 5 units of 7, 2 Death Company, 3 Assault Intercessors, 2 Vanguard Veterans, backed up with almost 500 points of fire support. The Assassin for actions, the Lieutenant for actions, the Scouts for actions. So it's a much more rounded list. It might, every list has strengths and weaknesses, but I feel like this is a little bit more rounded than like putting all of your eggs in the I will kill you in melee basket, and I don't care if you have something big and nasty. And here's the thing about big nasty things. Blood Angels actually do struggle into some big nasty things, like even a Bloodthirster, right? Like a toughness 11, I think, on the Bloodthirster with 18 wounds. That's actually pretty difficult for us to kill because of we only have 2 damage weapons, and it's got a 4-up invuln save, and it's got really high toughness value. In fact, one of the best things we've got for killing a Bloodthirster is like a chaplain attached to 10 Assault Intercessors. But we don't actually see that all that often. We see more people doing like Death Company squads and Sangre Guard squads. And if you leave a Bloodthirster alive on a few wounds, it is so bad for Blood Angels. It spits out a bunch of combat mortal wounds at the end of the fight phase, and then it just does its like bonkers number of like 15 2 damage attacks or something with its sweep. So, yeah, this list at least tries to deal with some of those monsters and vehicle threats before they start chewing up our infantry. So I probably like this list almost second. I mean, I'm probably more in the double Vindicator camp if I had to choose. All right, we're looking at Denmark next. We've got Rage Fueled Captain, we have Dante, we have Lamartez, and we've got a Lieutenant with combi weapon. Lamartez has definitely popped back into the meta, right? He had been gone for a while. He is back. This combi weapon Lieutenant is getting picked in almost every list. And Rage Fueled Warrior is actually getting picked a lot. More than I expected, considering it is 35 points. It's basically half the cost of a unit. But I guess it does give you a potential very strong Alpha Strike. The issue I have with Rage Fueled Warrior is 35 points, and sometimes you roll no 6s. So you're paying 35 points for something that in some games will do literally nothing. Which kind of sucks. Like I think 35 points is very high for it, but I guess a lot of people are seeing value in it. We've got 3 units of Assault Intercessors with jump packs. We then have that 18 Blade Guard and 3 6s. We have 10 Death Company. We have Infiltrators ×2, so we're going to screen out half the board. We then have 9 Sangre Guard. We have Scouts. So we're going to go for an all melee build here. We're going to screen out our side of the board with the 2 units of Infiltrators, and we are going to try and always be charging. 18 Blade Guard charging across the board. noting that the lists that took all these Blade Guard, they're not putting any of them in transports. They're just throwing them forward. Forward deploy, advance, potentially advance and charge, and on a one-phase list. I'm surprised at how many one-phase lists we've seen. One-phase lists are honestly not my favourite. But I mean, historically, Blood Angels players have done really well with one-phase lists, and it is something that comes up quite a lot. So before we go on to the next list, it is the time of the video where I ask you to like and subscribe or share this with a Blood Angels fan. I do appreciate it. I just want to point out that I am in the camp of really wanting all the firstborn Kulas, helmets and shoulder pads that we used to get for the Sangre Guard and Death Company. We saw a lot of Sangre Guard in these videos, or in these lists. We saw a lot of Death Company in these lists. So this image up here, like, why Games Workshop? Sell us the damn old classic Sangre Guard and Death Company bits. Come on, we're asking for them, or at least I'm asking for them. If you like these bits, leave a like on the video and leave me a comment what were your favourite firstborn bits. Alright, let's get into the next army list. Alright, let's move on to Finland next. And once again, we're on Liberator Assault Group. I did say there might be 1 or 2 Liberator Assault Group lists. We've got the Thunderhammer captain. Don't see him too often. Dante, another captain with the jump pack. Lamartez again, lieutenant of the combi weapon again. Intercessors for sticky objectives. Jump intercessors 1. Ballistas times 3. Death Company times 15, a 5 and a 10. Sorry, Death Company times 20, 10, 5, 5. Incursors, I guess they're giving those ballistas as +1 to hit. That's not the worst idea in the world with them getting rerolls hits against targets above half strength. 9 Sangre Guard, Scouts. So keeping the points down as much as possible on the fire support, 420 points. I was going to say 420, smoke them if you got them. Dante, he'll be with the 6 Sangre Guard. The captain with the jump pack, I imagine, is with 5 Assault Intercessors? Or more likely, probably the 3 Sangre Guard. Then leading the Death Company, you've got Lamartez and a captain with the Sustain. So I guess -1 damage on 10 Death Company. Sustained hits on 5 Death Company. So 20 Death Company, 9 Sangre Guard, +1 to hit. Scouts, Lieutenant, Incursors, Intercessors. Quite a few people stay away from Infiltrators. I'm surprised we see as little Infiltrators. But 3 Ballistas Dreadnoughts to bring 6 las cannons that can get +1 to hit, and then 6 missiles that can also get +1 to hit. It's not the worst idea in the world. Ballistas Dreadnoughts have good OC, they have a good save, they're not super expensive, they get targeted, they get long range. I think if you're trying to do fire support and you're trying to keep it cheap, some people want to... I think this is as cheap as you can get it, right? Like, I think the options are the 3 Ballistas Dreadnoughts or the 2 Gladiator Lancers. I don't think there's any in between. You have to take... You can't go any cheaper than that. And the problem with 2 Gladiator Lancers is Gladiator Lancers are very one-dimensional and they get countered pretty hard by units with invulnerable saves. Because if you come up against units with invulnerable saves, you're only asking the opponent to make 1 or 2 saves, typically from a Gladiator Lancer. So if they do fail 1, they can CP re-roll it, and then all of a sudden your Gladiator Lancer has done nothing. I feel with 6 las cannons and 6 missiles, crack missiles, strength 10, AP2, you're probably... That gives you 12 shots, right? Like, it's not as unlikely that you will completely fail to wound anything that has like a 4-up invuln save, or you know, 1 or 2 of those shots are going to sneak through, I feel like. I have also, like, with a single Ballistas Dreadnought, actually killed like a toughness 12, 16 wound orc battle wagon at like 48 inches. Like, these things can pop off, right? For 140 points, they actually have 4d6 plus 2 maximum damage potential. So it's like they can do 26 damage per Ballistas Dreadnought. So they can pop off a couple of double 6s on the damage roll. So I think if I had to pick 3 Ballistas Dreadnoughts or 2 Lancers, I know the Ballistases are more expensive, but that's the way I would go. Ironically, I actually only own 2 Ballistases, so I've never played 3. But I was playing 2 Ballistases and a Predator tank, which is very similar. And I thought that was pretty good. Next up then, we're going for Team Greece. And Greece, the legends of Greece have decided to go Angelic Inheritors. So very few people taking Angelic Inheritors, which is interesting because if you go into StatCheck right now, and StatCheck is a great little YouTube channel. I say little, they're probably going to... I say little. They're probably honestly going to pass me before too long. So if you go into StatCheck, you can actually see win rates. And like I said, you can subscribe to their YouTube channel as well. But if you go into StatCheck, you can actually click Blood Angels over here, and you can actually see that at the moment, Angelic Inheritors actually has a higher win rate than Liberator Assault Group. Liberator Assault Group with the buffs is sitting at 49%. More people are playing Liberator Assault Group, so I mean that has something to be said in it. In that, like, recently, 64 players were playing Liberator Assault Group, and only 23. So it's about 7. So in competitive play at the moment, 75% of players are playing Liberator Assault Group, 25 are playing Angelic Inheritors. But the ones playing Angelic Inheritors actually have a better win rate than Liberator Assault Group. So figure that out if you will. I know when I played in the recent tournament and I played Angelic Inheritors versus Liberator Assault Group, I actually beat my Liberator Assault Group opponent pretty significantly, and my list did go down 100 points, just like my opponent's. So I think in a mirror matchup, I think Angelic Inheritors might be slightly better as well. But Angelic Inheritors deals very well with infantry and lower toughness enemies. And typically, if you're running Blood Angels, you're running low toughness. You're running toughness 4 everywhere. So maybe Angelic Inheritors is just a good counter against Liberator Assault Group, ironically. But anyway, everyone in this tournament is just about running Liberator Assault Group, so let's check out the Angelic Inheritors list. And it starts with the captain on Jump Pack, the captain with Troubling Visions, Dante, and a lieutenant with combi weapons. So I'm imagining we're going to see 3 squads of 3 Sangre Guard to attach Dante and these 2 captains. We're going to run double Ball Predator. We're going to run double Lancer. We've seen this before. I think the thing that elevates Angelic Inheritors into a very good place is those Inceptors as well. So this is a lot of shooting, right? 285 points times 2, which is like 570, plus 240. So you're like 810 points of shooting here. The Ball Predators can come and do actions. I believe the tactic with these Ball Predators is you push them forward very aggressively, you advance them, you potentially get them onto opponents' objectives. When they bring out their anti-tank to kill them, you then use your Lancers to kill the enemy's anti-tank. You also have the Inceptors that can be dropped down and picked back up. 6 Inceptors at the moment. That is a lot of damage. You have Infiltrators times 2. Don't see that too often, but that's going to screen out your entire side of the board. So then, I thought we would have 3 Sangre Guard, but in fact we have 12. So we've just gone big on the Sangre Guard. And then we got a Thunderstrike to give all of our shooting potentially into monsters and vehicles +1 to wound. Also, +1 to wound on the Plasma Inceptors could be very, very nice because Plasma Inceptors are strength 8 with Twin Linked. So they're 55% chance to wound stuff that is higher than them, right? Like that is their base. If you give them +1 to wound, then they are 75% chance to wound toughness, toughness 9+. So if you bring in your 6 Plasma Inceptors, you could use the sustained hit stratagem on them. So they're getting 12 shots. You could reroll everything with Oath of the Moment. You use sustains. You probably end up with something like 14 hits. I think statistically you would end up with almost like 13 or 14 hits. 75% chance to wound. They are AP 3. They are flat 3. I like this list actually. I haven't played Angelic Inheritors in a while. But I think if I was going to run it again, I think having played it myself, the biggest problem it has is it doesn't deal with high toughness stuff, right? It just can't deal with it. Your Sangre Guard are only strength 6 in this detachment. They don't deal with high toughness stuff at all. There is one strat that gives you +1 to wound, but you can only use that in one place on the battlefield. So if you're making 3 charges, let's say you're playing Knights, you're making 3 charges, only one of those charges is going to end up favorably because you only have +1 to wound in one situation. So this list looks at the problem Angelic Inheritors is having, which is it sucks against high toughness stuff, and I think he's putting a lot of tools to fix it. It's very low in the characters for Angelic Inheritors, but it's going to try and do some other stuff. And the sustained on those Inceptors with +1 to wound, that's something I haven't seen on those Inceptors actually. +1 to wound in Angelic Inheritors, that's actually pretty cool. So that's unique and cool. So props to Greece for playing Angelic Inheritors. Next up, we've got Luxemburg, excuse me. They're back on Liberator Assault Group. We've got that Relic Thunderhammer. We've got the Death Company. We've got Speed of the Primarch Captain. We have Lamartes and the Combi Weapon. A lot of similarities between some of these lists. 10 Jump Intercessors. 15 Death Company Jump. The Infiltrators. The 12 Sangre Guard. The Scouts, the double Vindicator tank. Okay, so I mean, I think when you add like 10 Jump Intercessors, 15 Death Company, 12 Sangre Guard, and then you back it up with double Vindicator, you're probably in a pretty good place, right? Like, you could reserve the Vindicators, you can bring them on. You've got Lamartas to get you lethal hits. You've got the Death Company Captain to give you fight first. You've got a Relic Blade for a little bit of dev. You've got Lieutenant for scoring and Scouts. Yeah, I mean, I think this is an all-round solid Liberator Assault Group list. I think as much as you can have fire support be the cheapest, like the cheapest you can do with the fire support is the 2 Lancers. Personally, I prefer 2 Vindicator tanks. I just think with Vindicator tanks, over the course of a game, there's more chance that they just pop off. And sometimes, right, like when I was at the tournament, I was playing a Vindicator tank, and like sometimes you roll the number of shots, it's a 6, so it's d6 plus 3, you're shooting an enemy unit that you're getting blast on, all of a sudden it's like 10 shots, you've given them Oath of Moment. Strength 14 from the Vindicator will usually wound shit on like 2s or 3s. Like the Vindicator sometimes just says to your opponent, like, you just need to make a lot of AP3 saves and everyone is a d6 damage. So I prefer a Vindicator to a Lancer. Personally, I think they're more reliable, but sometimes you do roll really crap on the number of shots. But, I mean, that's the price you pay for going big on the Vindicator tanks, right? I just realized all the way through this video, I am tiny in the corner, and I'm talking about stuff on the other side of the screen, so now I'm going to be big, so deal with it. Alright, we're looking at Northern Ireland next. I was going to try and make a joke about the Scottish and the Irish being friends, because we are friends, and we're very close together geographically. But anyway, Northern Ireland, let's do it. Dante, Lamartes, Rage Captain, Jump Captain with Fight First, Chaplain with Jump, and a Lieutenant with Combi Weapon. Jump Assault Intercessors, we have 15. Jump Death Company, we have 20. A lot of people playing the Jump Death Company. Okay, I haven't found them to be super useful. I've only played the 5 since they went down in points. But a lot of people taking the 10, so maybe they're worth another try. Infiltrators, 3 units of the Sandguard, keeping them nice and cheap at 110 points. A unit of Scouts, a unit of Stern Guard to bring a little bit of fire support. I think the Stern Guard might be in the Impulsor here. So I think the Stern Guard will be in the Impulsor with the Rage Captain. The Rage Captain, obviously, if he targets Oath of Moment target, will get to reroll all hits and wounds because he's attached to the Stern Guard. Stern Guard will get devastating wounds. You've got a couple of small squads of Death Company with Chaplains. You've got the big squad of Death Company with Lamartes. You've got Dante with the Sangre Guard. Pretty standard, pretty decent. It's not entirely a one-phase list because the Stern Guard do a little bit of shooting, but for the most part, it is a one-phase list because statistically, the Stern Guard, if you get them within 15 inches, they should do somewhere in the region of like 5 or 6 mortal wounds. So they could destroy something. They might be able to destroy a transport. It is unknown. Maybe. With the grenades and maybe a bit of luck and maybe a sneaky infernal pistol, there is a potential to kill a transport. So you aren't completely a one-phase list, but you're close to it. Alright, next up is Norway. Alright, Chaplain with Fight First, Mephiston, who we really haven't seen yet very much, Dante, Gift of Foresight Captain, so he can, Gift of Foresight means he can flip a dice to 6, so he can guarantee a sustained hit, and the Sanguinar, and this is back to Liberator Assault Group. Personally, I don't like the Sanguinar in the Liberator Assault Group. I just think he's too unreliable. He's low strength, he doesn't get any rerolls, but I mean, you can do some shenanigans with him, so, and he is a lone operative. Maybe if it's 120 points, I'd like him, but 140 is very expensive. My experience tells me that, like, he arrives from Heroic Intervention, he kills 1 model, and I'm not really sure that's worth 140 points. Okay, One squad of jump intercessors. We've got double ball predator. We have 6 blade guard. We have 5 jump marines. We have the double lancer. So when double lancers are getting taken, double ball predator is also getting taken. We have the infiltrators. We have 6 sangre guard, and we have scouts. So we have a good balance here. Ball predators to deal with infantry, lancers to deal with armor. Jump intercessors 5, death company marines 5, sangre guard 6, and blade guard 6. So I think because we've got both Mephiston and the Sanguiner in there, they're eating up a lot of our points, being that we've got Dante in there as well. So we do have a good number of lone operatives. What's in the Impulsor here? Probably the Blade Guard with the Fight First Chaplain. Okay, so personally, I feel like I like the list that have Lieutenant more. I think the Sanguiner and Mephiston for 260 points are probably, in my opinion, not massively better than Lieutenant, who is only 70, and that would give you enough points for a whole other unit. But some people like Mephiston, some people like the Sanguiner. In certain matchups, they can certainly be a nuisance to deal with, and then they can provide great value. But I think there's enough matchups where they're actually really difficult to play. So this one is probably not my favorite list, but it's an option. And I mean, the idea of going over all 15 of these lists is to give you guys options and to see what the top players at the World Team Championships are bringing. All right, we're on to Larry from Scotland, the best country in the entire world. Leave a thumbs up if you agree. So I want to see 1,000 thumbs up on this video. Larry is running a Rage Fuel Captain, another captain with Fight First. He is in Liberator Assault Group as well. He's got 2 jump chaplains. He has Dante, he has Lamartas, he has Lieutenant with Combi Weapon. I can tell you right now, Larry's going to be a one-phase army because holy crap, Larry has spent a lot of points on characters. We have the Impulsor. We have Jump Intercessors times 3. We have Death Company Marines times 20. We have Infiltrators times 2, we have the Sangre Guard times 6, and then we have the units of Stern Guard. Oh, I lied, he's got 1 unit of Stern Guard who will be in the Impulsor with the Rage Captain. Okay, the Captain with the Jump Pack, Speed of the Primarch is probably going to be with Sangre Guard, Dante will be Sangre Guard, Lamarta's probably with the 10 Death Company, and then the 2 chaplains with a 5 Death Company. So the cool thing that Larry has done, and I think it is cool, is like one of the things that Blood Angels struggle with is we don't have enough ways of getting +1 to wound. So both units of Death Company, the 5-mans, they're just +1 to wound all the time. Lamarta's, while he isn't +1 to wound, he is giving the other 10 lethal hits. So that's probably like in a way like a pseudo replacement for that. You then have the Sangre Guard that are like with Dante and the Captain, and because the other units already have like +1 to wound or lethal hits, then that frees up our stratagem to give +1 to wound or lethal hits to the Sangre Guard, who are going to need it. And then we could probably use Oath of Moment on our Captain Rage with the Stern Guard coming out of the transport. So it is a one-phase list. Lots of characters, lots of jump stuff. I mean, overall, I like it, but like right now, I'm wary because I've been playing Death Guard a lot with my Blood Angels, and I've been losing a lot against Death Guard. But then in the team tournaments, maybe you can try and avoid that matchup. Like Death Guard is just a really bad matchup for Blood Angels at the moment. I think I mean, if you've played the matchup, you probably know that. So this doesn't do great against that, but this definitely does well against certain armies. It's fast, a lot of damage coming out. And a lot of maneuverability. So next up, we'll move on to Slovenia. And once again, we are on Liberator Assault Group. Don't talk to me till I've had my monster. Okay, I think he means monster energy, but he might actually mean just like biting the head off a bloodthirster like Ozzy Osbourne or something, right? So a chaplain with Fight First, Mephiston, Dante, a Rage Fuel Captain, Death Company Captain, and a Lieutenant. We've got the squad of Intercessors who can do Sticky. We've got 10 Jump Intercessors. We've got 2 Ballistic Dreadnoughts. So this is very cheap on the fire support, 280. We've got the 6 Blade Guard. We've got the 15 Death Company across 3 squads. We've got 3 Sangre Guard. We've got Scouts. We've got Calidus Assassins. So he's like, I don't know. I personally feel like 2 Ballistas is enough. Like, if you're going to invest in fire support, I feel like 2 Ballistas is probably not enough. But I guess, you know, sometimes something's got to give, right? So I guess what he's given up is 2 ballistas. Is at least you've got 4 las cannons, at least you've got 4 crack missiles. You do some damage with that. You've got the 6 blade guard, you've got the 10 jump intercessors, sorry, 15 jump intercessors, 15 jump death company, 10 regular jump intercessors, and then 1 small squad of sanguinary guard. Lots of characters, 2 lone operatives. All 3 of the Death Company are going to be led by Death Company captains, so all the Death Company are just getting sustained hits. You've got Dante leading the 3, you've got the Chaplain with Fight First with the Blade Guard, and you've got Mephiston. So, an interesting list, something different. We haven't seen anyone up until now, I think, take 3 Death Company captains. But, I mean, if you are making your charges and you're getting good rolls on the sustained hits, then those units can definitely do quite a bit of damage. On the charge, they're much, much better than if you are charged. So that's the trick here, right? Like, if you can make the charge with these units, they're just wholly better. And he's also got Rage Fueled in there in case we want to sustain 3, some sort of big nasty target with the Death Company Captain. Death Company Captains obviously do mortal wounds as well when they're killed, which is a cool little quirky thing. Alright, we're looking at Spain next, and Spain is also doing Liberator Assault Group. What a surprise. I say that like it's Spain's fault. No, I guess people like Liberator Assault Group. What more is there to say? We've got the Rage Fueled Warrior. We have a captain with a jump pack. We have a chaplain with a jump pack and Speed of the Primarch. You can see chaplains with Fight First seem to be possibly one of the most common combos. We've got Mephiston, we've got Lamartez, we've got that Lieutenant Combi Weapon. We've got Assault Intercessors on foot. We have 3 units of Jump Intercessors. We have the Double Ball Predator. We have the 15 Death Company Marines. We have the 9 Sanguinary Guard. We have the Scouts times 2. So the fire support in this list is just Ball Predators, 15 Jump Intercessors, 15 Death Company Marines, 9 Sanguinary Guard, 2 units of Scouts, 2 Lone Operatives, a few Captains, the Rage Captain. Unfortunately, I think the Rage Captain in this list is on foot rather than inside an Impulsor. I feel a little bit sad about that because I think the Impulsor is what makes him really strong. Because if I know your Rage Captain is on foot and I see you running across the battlefield, any shape or form, I'm just going to shoot everything I can at you. Because if I can avoid sustain 3 from a Strength 10 Power Fist with I think the Rage Captain gets 9 attacks in Liberator Assault Group if he uses his Finest Hour. If I can avoid doing that, 9 attacks with reroll all hits and sustain 3, I'm going to avoid it. I think that's why the Impulsor is such a common pick there. 9 Sanguinary Guard is cool. 15 Death Company Marines is cool. I'd like to see how well Blood Angels do with this, because there's a lot of people that are playing Death Company Marines since the points drop. I think for me, the thing that this tells me is I need to start practicing a little bit more with Death Company Marines. I'll be doing that in about a week and a half's time. I'm going to GT next weekend. Yeah, like a week from when this video releases, and I'm taking Stormlance. Once I've done that GT and I've played my Stormlance and I've got that out of my system, I think I guess I'm going to try and play like 15, 20 Death Company and see how that feels, because lots and lots of people are trying that at the moment. Okay. The penultimate list is from Thailand, and we are Liberator Assault Group with Mephiston, a lieutenant with the Storm Shield, another lieutenant with the Storm Shield. I imagine these guys are going to both be charged to Blade Guard so we can get lethal hits and fall back in charge. That's going to be the plan here, I think. And the Sanguiner. So the 2 expensive characters that I don't think are that good in Liberator Assault Group, and then 2 lieutenants. So we've got 2 Impulsors and 2 6 Blade Guards. They'll definitely be attached by the Storm Shield lieutenants, and then we've got a 3rd 6 Blade Guard for the hell of it. We've got a squad, double Eradicators, actually. And we've got Incursors in there so we can get +1 to hit. We've got Infiltrators so we can screen the backfield. We've got 6 Sanguinary Guard and 2 3s. We've got Scouts, and then we've got triple Stern Guard. Okay, interesting list. This is very different to what we would normally see. So we're going to try and push up the board with the Impulsors. We're going to try and sit on objectives with the Blade Guards. We're going to try and advance and charge and lethal hits and fall back and charge. And we're going to possibly reserve the Eradicators to deal with some threats. We're going to make enemies +1 to hit. We're going to use Stern Guards, potentially from reserve or rapid fire, to try and whittle things down and do devastating wounds. Stern Guards are very good. Every squad has the bolt rifles and the heavy bolter, that makes sense. And then we've got Scouts as well. So with 2 lone operatives, scouts, impulsors can also do actions. This list is like way out of left field. I guess the meta in Thailand is a little bit different, but I actually like it. I think it's pretty cool. And I suppose the cool thing is once you have deployed your Blade Guard, potentially, there's nothing to say a squad of Stern Guard couldn't jump in the Impulsor, because if they're in the Impulsor, they can still do everything. They're devastating wounds, they're rapid fire, they can move around, and they can also be protected from return fire to a certain extent. And opponents typically don't want to waste a whole amount of shooting and firepower on killing Impulsors. And so we come to the last list, and it is, dun dun dun, Liberator Assault Group. So 14 out of 15 lists. Liberator Assault Group, we are for the United Nations. Dante, Death Company Captain with Jump Pack ×2, Lamartes, and the Combi Weapon Lieutenant. So Assault Intercessors ×10, Assault Intercessors ×5 ×10, Death Company ×10 ×10 ×10. Oh geez, we've gone the 30 Death Company. We're attaching 2 Death Company Captains and Lamartes. Crazy. Dante's going to be with a 6. We're going to have 2 3-man Sanguinary Guards. We're going all jump all the time. So 25 Jump Intercessors, 30 Death Company Jump Marines, and 12 Sanguinary Guards. You know, that's actually a lot of Jump Marines. I don't, 45 plus 12. I should be able to do that. I'm at 57 Jump Marines. Here's the thing. 57 Jump Marines, not that many units. Lieutenant's going to have to do quite a bit. You're probably going to be doing actions on the 3-man Sanguinary Guards or the 5 Jump Intercessors. You're a 1-phase list, so it's all your damage is going to come in that melee phase. Your units don't have a ton of survivability, so you're going to have to get a lot out of them every time you make those charges. We haven't mentioned if the enemy has fight first. If you come into something like Yunari with fight first, you might have some big problems, actually. I played them recently at a GT and got wrecked by basically the fact that anything in their army could have fight first. Jump Intercessors help against that, obviously, because they can do the Impact Mortals, but I think this is a difficult list to play. 30 Death Company Marines with jump packs. We haven't seen that in years. So hats off for trying this. I wish you absolutely the best of luck. Do I have any confidence in that list? Let's just say it's not for me. So this last week, Pastor just made a video talking about... Oh, better make myself small again. Talking about the best combat patrol. If you're trying to get more Blood Angels models in your army, if you want to know which combat patrols the community voted for to be the best ones to buy as a Blood Angels player, then here's the video that you want to watch over on the left-hand side of the screen. If you want to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, you can buy your combat patrols from Element Games in the UK or Wargame Portal in the US using the links in the video description, and anything that you buy will give a kickback to the channel, which helps support me, and I do appreciate that ever so much. Or if you want to support on Patreon or join the YouTube membership, you can do that down below. Thanks ever so much for watching to the end of the video. Leave me a suggestion if there's a video you would like me to cover in the future. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. I hope you guys have a great week. Sunday night is episode 200 of the Army List Show. In that video on Sunday, I'm going to be announcing the next channel giveaway. We've got a bunch of Crimson Lord pieces to give away. So I hope to see you on Sunday night. I hope you guys have a great weekend. By the blood, Army made strong, my friends. Peace.